Hi, it's Andres. Sorry. Oh, ouch. Oh, Jesus. Nothing tastes better than a small cold beer after a ride like that. My hands are falling off. That motorcycle really wore me out. But it didn't tire me out because it was hard to ride. It wore me out because it was so easy to ride and I was just giving it so much throttle more than I have in a long time. It's been a few months, or maybe a month. Well, it doesn't matter. It was really fast today at the Almeria track. Wow, just wow. You know, the BMW S1000RR. Actually, not even just this model, but the previous one as well. These are motorcycles that are famous for being the easiest to ride fast. That's why we see so many of them at various track days. With the new model, it's even better. It just corners beautifully. And the truth is, this is the new model for 2023, and the overall character has basically stayed the same. There aren't any major differences. The engine is the same, the power is the same, 200 something horsepower. Honestly, what difference does it make? Who even thinks about the numbers? Under 200 kilograms in weight. I think I'm glad I have a magazine so I can write everything down there once I really dig into all this knowledge. Because it's not about the numbers, it's about the riding experience. And those experiences with the BMW just keep getting better and better and better. If you've watched my comparison tests or other ones, it was always the case that with the BMW you just get on and ride. The time is the best. Boring. But now it's not boring anymore because that speed is reaching a whole new level. And why is that? Again, it's because of the electronics, but not only that. The changes are not in the engine, but in the frame. The frame is more flexible and the steering head angle has been changed to give you a better feel for the front wheel, so the front wheel has more grip. All of this goes hand in hand with the winglets, whose effect I can't really determine because unfortunately I've never had the chance to ride the same motorcycle both with and without winglet. But we are at the Almeria circuit, the Almeria track, and those who have ridden here know that there are blind corners here. They kind of go over crest, where you're fully leaned over on the gas, and whoop, you drop down again. So this is a place where the motorcycle gets lightened up. Here, on the second ride, you can really go flying hard because it's a fast corner. And if the front lets go there, boom, there's nothing left to pick up from the bike. But in this case, the motorcycle just rode like a dream. Honestly, during those last sessions when I started to step out of my comfort zone a bit, I could really feel that the front wasn't actually holding any better, but there was already quite a bit of throttle roll down there. You know, I always ride like that, close to the limits, but I want to be safe, so I try not to cross it. And so, what am I getting at with the electronic? I thank the engineers for looking out for me, because there are newly recalibrated traction controls and they've added slide assist, which means that with traction control enabled at level 2, you ride and simply when you give it gas, the motorcycle comes out and exits the corner with a slide. This is aided by an additional sensor located at the front. It's a sensor that measures how the handlebars are tilted, and this provides extra data that helps optimize the electronics performance. And as a whole, it just worked. Really, with this motorcycle, you ride, start it up, and you feel how it just whoosh, it comes out, and then you can fully open the throttle, and it'll just slide along like that. That's my consumer advice, because there are people who just ride in a rut, see the exit, and do this. Throttle. And that works too. For me, it's always like this. I build up the throttle, I try to do it as quickly as possible, and when I feel it's coming out and I sense that the electronics are supporting me, that's when I really open up the throttle. And it turns out that this approach can actually be pretty cool because I was riding with Mr. Jürgen Fuchs, a very nice guy. We were shooting some video footage and Mr. Jürgen, just like me, likes to pop wheelies. So I head out. We've got that magic button I love in BMWs, the one that turns off traction control. I held down that little button, turned off traction control and wheelie control and started riding on one wheel. I'm riding, dropped it down nicely, and Mr. Jürgen didn't let go so he could follow after me. And I thought, okay, cool, I'm off, but I forgot to press the button again and shot out onto the straight. And this motorcycle just keeps going. I'm thinking, wow, this electronics really lets you do a lot. Then I'm going the whole track, and I'm like, damn, but it's going. I pull into the pit, take a look, and see that the traction control was off. And I was safe for two reasons. First, because there's a lot of mechanical grip. Those Bridgestones had incredible grip. And the chassis, the suspension, honestly, there's nothing to complain about, really. Again, I think I have one person whom I warmly greet in the comments who says, here we go, another motorcycle he likes, it's all paid off. No, it's not paid off. Yes, BMW is our partner. They advertise with us, but they don't pay us for the test. If something was wrong here, I would tell you. In the previous BMW, I said the brakes were rubbish, but here they're not because they're new calipers. Are there? There are. I actually don't know what's going on because some have those standard black ones and some have the M ones. Anyway, if you're gonna buy a new S1000RR, get it with these calipers because I kept the lever for myself. I like it when the lever is closed. I set it as close as possible and it always stayed in the same position. The brakes never faded at all and I could modulate them perfectly. Great power, great modulation, just awesome. I lost my train of thought. What I was getting at is that these systems help me stay safe, but even without these systems, you can still ride this motorcycle very fast. It's still very, very predictable. It's not like, you know, a fighter jet where without the system, it just won't fly at all. So my consumer advice is ride in a way that you can feel when you're losing grip and then go for it. Another really cool system is the slide control with ABS. There's also a new system called MSRI, I'll describe it in the magazine again, which stabilizes the motorcycle during braking. And it's like this, you're riding, boom, you hit the brakes, the motorcycle slows down, the rear lifts, it starts to fishtail, you know, things start happening. Do you know the situations if you ride on the track? And with this system, even if the rear lifts off, it adjusts the speed of the rear wheel so that when it lands, it stabilizes the bike. And it's funny because I noticed this on the M1000R I tested yesterday. I was doing a stoppie, and suddenly as I'm doing it, the engine goes vroom. That was exactly this system. And at first I thought I don't really like it because, well, it interferes with me. I mean, I was riding, I brake, the bike goes boom, boom, it gets tossed around. Then, you know, it stabilizes itself for the corner because I braked a bit too late, quite hard. And I thought, okay, I hit the apex, but it wasn't just me. The system helped me here, and I wasn't entirely comfortable with that. Like, okay, I know how to handle this situation myself, and I'd prefer to do it on my own. And you know what happened? Last session, I'm already tired. I turned on ABS to level 1, which means ABS is on at the front, off at the back. So I actually have most of the control. That system is off, it's deactivated then. I'm going full on the brakes and then wow, again, I braked too late and it spat me out. So I thought, okay, I'll just turn it back on. Seriously. And I just kept going, braking, and that's it. So this system, you know, I'm not racing, I ride for pleasure. I'll enjoy myself as long as I'm safe riding the motorcycle. And since this system didn't really bother me that much and I rode with it all day, it's fine. And besides that, this system allows you to control the slide using the rear brake when entering a corner. And I played around with that too. From the starting straight, it wasn't really effective because there isn't a corner here that actually requires it. But I kept pressing the rear brake and the motorcycle was sliding. But remember, it's not like it's going to do it for you. It's not like you just press the rear brake and the motorcycle will go. No, because you're the one sitting on the motorcycle. It depends on how you modulate the front brake, what your position is, and how you turn the handlebar. So in reality, it doesn't do it for you, it just makes sure you don't overdo it. So a few of the slides really turned out great, and I kept going. The second place where this system helped me was entering the chicane after a long left with a kink, where you're leaning hard and have to brake while leaned over. And then I started pressing the brake, and you know, I wasn't doing it anymore to make the bike slide for the sake of a cool video, but rather to get the motorcycle better balanced. And that's when I started approaching the chicane better, and a few times I could feel the rear starting to step out, but the system was there. Normally I wouldn't press the rear brake there because I'd be afraid I'd overdo it and you know, end up with the most spectacular high side of my life. But with this system, I just dared to do it, and in the end it was better. So once again, haters gonna hate. Haters are going to hate electronics. In my work, I want to be safe. Like I told you, listen, most people who will ride this motorcycle won't even use that word because it's scary. It's scary. To decide to open the throttle that hard or brake that hard so that the motorcycle gets thrown, you really need to spend a lot of time on a bike to even consider doing that. So most people won't use it. Racers won't use it either because they'll just turn all of it off. So all of this is for people like me who want to ride fast, want to ride in a cool way, but at the same time want to stay safe, and they have the experience that allows them to make use of this system. What else? Carbon wheels are cool. Man, the way these motorcycle corners, there's just no problem. I was just getting worn out. because this motorcycle is physically demanding, and at times I just couldn't keep up. I was flipping it over, flip, 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 and at a certain point I just couldn't make it in time and kind of went off a bit. But honestly, this motorcycle really encourages you to work on yourself, because here you don't need to do anything else, seriously. This is a semi-active suspension, but in race pro mode it works, you know, as if it were fixed, meaning as if we were adjusting it manually. I had no issues with this stock suspension. There was no pumping, nothing. There was no instability at all. We went through that chicane. There were those small weak bumps. You just rode over them and that was it. I really have nothing to complain about weight. I thought I had something to nitpick. I turned on the heated grips when I was riding. It was cold at first, but there's cruise control. And I was going to complain that I didn't get to ride the M1000RR. They didn't let us, you know, that's the one with the big arrow, but oh well. I don't know, I'm just tired right now. I'll see, think about it, write about it in the magazine if I remember, analyze, go over everything, watch the videos. I was supposed to say hi to Roback. But why was I supposed to say hi to Roback? Because of the traction control, right? Because the riders were saying that the stock traction control holds on too much. So I'm curious about the rider's opinion. So hi Roback, shout out to you. When you try out this new model, because I think it doesn't hold on too much anymore, since there were many moments where, but I'm just recording this for myself, because I didn't feel like it was cutting my power. And for the first time in my life, I had a situation where I started to open the throttle before the apex, just so the bike would start to slide a bit, tighten the turn a little, and as I exited onto the straight, here these were still pretty timid attempts, but I'm starting to get there. You know, when you see Superbike riders, how they open the throttle, even before the apex, and are already sliding sideways through the whole corner well, I don't know if I'll ever reach that level, probably not, but it's already started. It just snaps vroom, and I shoot out onto the straight like a rocket. And that shows how well it works, how brutal that power is, but still controlled. Because these Bridgestone, usually Bridgestone and Dunlop, have this characteristic that they grip, 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 and aren't as eager to slide as Pirellis, but here the bike just slid in, pure poetry. I was coming out, wanted to stay closer to the inside, I twist the throttle, and right away it goes vroom and just goes in. I don't know if that'll be visible on the onboard footage. The important thing is that I'm happy. Best regards, bye.